Good morning. Happy Friday. We are starting this off just a bit early today, and I'm okay with it. Give me just a minute. Let's get some people on here. If you jump on, leave a comment in the section below. Let me know where you're at. Say hello. Don't be shy. We're going to get some more people on here, so just bear with me for a second. Can't spell worth a damn. It's been a crazy week. You ever have one of those weeks where you just like everything that you planned went right into the crapper? Almost literally, quite frankly. Yeah, crazy week this week. All right, it is 9 o'clock. It's time to get this party started. Hello, everybody out there in the old interweb lands. Welcome to your HMG weekly wrap up. For those of you that are just watching this for the very first time, I'm your host, Adam Bird. You'll notice the pink attire. I had the pink tie on, not a bow tie, but it's my breast cancer awareness tie. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Important month, I think. Shout out to all of you women and men, for that matter, out there that have fought breast cancer, and also shout out to all those that have lost a loved one to breast cancer. I wear mine for my grandmother, who passed September 18th in 2016, I believe. And when I was in Vegas recently for my anniversary, they had there was a fire truck out there, and they were selling these T-shirts, and it was really cool. It was an older fire truck that they had. It was a decommissioned fire truck. They had it out, and it had all of these names written on it in Sharpie. And so my wife and I bought shirts to help support their cause there in was the North Las Vegas fire department, and we signed our loved ones' names onto the fire truck. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was cool. So, like I said, I wear my tie in for all of those that have loved ones, but me in particular, this is for my grandmother, in remembrance of her. So it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month all month, and I'm ashamed to admit that I hadn't really even brought it up in the last week's show. So I wanted to make sure that that was the first thing I started this week's show off with was that. There's my man Ken. Good morning, brother. How are you? Always appreciate you jumping on. Ken, you've been busy. I'm seeing you making those. You got your 3D. You got your 3D printer working overtime there, man. I love it. Let's catch up on a call maybe this weekend if you guys are around. So, yeah, save the tatas. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Let's dive into. Or let me back up. Let me say this too. I want to say this. If you have a loved one that had breast cancer and you want to give them a shout out, please leave their name, comment them, give them a shout out in the comments below, whatever platform you're on, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, got a couple on YouTube. Leave a shout out and Put their name on there. Let them know that we love them. All right, let's get into some of the topics this week. In no particular order. Uh, what happened down in DC this week was the AUSA, it was the Army's annual, it's their Association of the United States Army. It's their annual conference that they do every year. I wanted to get down there this year. Unfortunately, something happened. I guess I'll mention this too. So I ended up in the emergency room earlier this week. Nothing serious. I'm fine. Obviously, I'm sitting here in front of you, but wasn't wasn't feeling that great. And I had this kind of rash on the lower part of my leg, and I got cellulitis. So if you've never had cellulitis, I don't wish that on anybody. It sucks. My leg is swollen like in double in size. My career as a leg model is now over. Uh, I'll find something, I'm sure, but nonetheless, cellulitis sucks. But as you get older, I didn't realize as you get older, if you don't take care of it, it can be deadly. It could get into your bloodstream, and for older adults, it could cause death. So it's something to take serious. If you get a bug bite or you're playing with your dogs, I think mine was because it was roughhousing with one of my pups earlier in the week. And anyway, so I'll be fine. I'm on antibiotics. It just sucks. I'm kind of limited of moving around. So that being said, I wanted to go down to AUSA this year. Didn't get a chance to, but the Army Secretary brought up a topic this week, and it was, is it time to cut back on military moves? Now, I know we got a lot of active duty people that watch the show, and I'm really curious about what your guys' thoughts are on this. The Army needs to take a hard look at the idea of providing greater career flexibility, stability, for the soldiers and families, and that could include decreasing the frequency of move. Now, right now, the average PCS is 3 years, and they're talking about moving it to 5 years potentially. And you know what? I'm gonna post this article on here. I found this to be very, very interesting, and I think it's been a topic that's been brought up in the past. And they haven't pulled the trigger on it because there's a lot of things that they got to get Congress involved in it and whatnot. But what about decreasing the moves? So this was Secretary Christine Wormuth. I hope I said her name right. In a quote, our own Army career engagement survey shows that most officers leaving the service today are seeking more stability, predictability, and a better family life. I can get that. I can get that. And I see, we work with a couple of nonprofit organizations, one being geared towards the families, Military Child Education Coalition. Shout out to them. I know they were down there this week at their table. If you have a family, and you're moving around every 3 years, it can be difficult for the kids, also on the spouses. But is that a good move? Do you think that would keep people in the military a bit longer? I'm kind of interested in what your guys' thoughts are. So if you're watching this now, leave a comment on that. And if you watch this later on in the week or over the weekend, leave a comment on it. I'm really curious to see, like, if they move back the PCSs to 5 years. It gives the soldier an extra 2 years at a duty station. There were some other things that they talked about too, about transitioning into a different career path, making it a little bit easier to transition into a different career path while you're in the military as well. So all good things. I think that's a positive, quite frankly. But I left the article there. It's on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, folks. I'll post that a little bit later today, so you guys have it over there as well. But I looked at this as a positive move for our Army veterans. I thought this was cool. Let's take the news across the pond, but we're going to keep it in the family here a little bit. UK Army veteran, United Kingdom Army veteran, convicted of silently praying near an abortion clinic. Let me let that just sit in for a second. A UK Army veteran has been ordered to pay £9,000 in prosecution costs after he was convicted for silently praying outside an abortion facility. Adam Smith Connor was sentenced to a conditional discharge, a conviction that means he will only be sentenced to prison if he is convicted of any future offenses in the next 2 years. This is coming from the Alliance Defending Freedom UK, or the ADF, explained. According to the court, Smith Connor's prayer amounted to a disapproval of abortion. Okay, I see what we're doing here. But wait, there's more. The case pertains to an incident that happened. So this incident happened in 2022, where he violated a buffer zone policy. He was later questioned on the nature of his prayers. In response to the ruling, Smith Connor said, the court decided that certain thoughts, silent thoughts, mind you, can be illegal in the United Kingdom. Smith Connor said, and I quote, "All I did was pray to God in the privacy of my own mind," end quote. He said, quote, "and yet I stand convicted as a criminal," end quote. What are you guys' thoughts on this? This is happening in the UK. It has happened in the UK. And he gets convicted for praying to God. And it was because he did it in front of an abortion facility, as they put it. Is this the next thing that we're going to start? We've said there's been a war on religion for a long, long time. Let's be honest. There's been a war on religion since day one of existence. But this here, I mean, this is like some medieval times type stuff here. Interesting to see what happens moving forward with this. I can't believe that the UK came. You could Google this. It's UK Army veteran convicted. You just type that in. You'll come up with a couple different. You'll see it there if you Google it. But I found it interesting that he got convicted for, or he had to pay £9,000 for praying in his mind. I mean, I guess he could have lied and told him what he was talking. Didn't tell him what he was talking about, but that would have, and I don't know. I think it's odd that we're holding people accountable for praying, and we're charging them for it. Yeah, I'm gonna put this up here because my man Keith, get right with the Lord, because the world is going upside down. Listen, Ken, we're already inverted, man. We're upside down now. And here's the thing. I don't know if you guys have noticed the last couple of weeks, I haven't done a whole lot of topics on stuff just because of stuff like that. It's been like we are upside down, and it is crazy. I hear stuff, people getting arrested for praying in their mind. It's not like he was doing it out loud and causing a disruption. Again, not the United States. This was over in the UK. Maybe there's something to be said about that as well. I don't know. Nonetheless, horrible. What do we have here? Andrea, trouble has arrived. Morning, Andrea. How you doing? Let's move on to the next one here. U.S. threatens to withhold military aid from Israel. The Biden-Harris administration is threatening to withhold military aid from Israel if it does not improve humanitarian aid efforts in Gaza in the next 30 days. Now, this article came out Tuesday. Secretary of State and the Defense Secretary told Israeli Minister of the Strategic Affairs, Ron Dreamer, and Defense Minister, whatever. He basically told Israel, hey, if you don't get a bunch of aid over to Gaza in the next 30 days, and they're talking hundreds of aid trucks each day for Gaza, then they're threatening to withhold military aid moving forward. Funny, because if you count down the 30 days, it's just after Election Day. I don't know. I just figured that out. I'm not a math genius, but look that one up. Moving on. Drones breach U.S. military base for 17 days. What? Drones breach U.S. military base for 17 days. A fleet of unidentified drones breached the airspace over a U.S. military base for 17 days in a row. The base houses the F-22 Raptor fighter jets. About 45 minutes into an hour after sunset, the drones flew over Langley Air Force Base, reports the Wall Street Journal. Well, okay. The first drone was an estimated 20 feet long and flew more than 100 miles an hour at an altitude of 3,000 to 4,000 feet. Former U.S. Air Force General Mark Kelly was the first to notice this. This was back in December of 2023. And according to the Wall Street Journal, the drones flew near the Navy SEALs Team 6 home base at Naval Air Station Norfolk. I don't know why the news does that crap, and quite honestly, can't believe I repeated it. But this was back in December of 2026. Now, the White House knew about it, was briefed on the matter, but no action was taken. Federal law prohibits the military from shooting down drones near military bases. I got mixed feelings on that. I'll hold on that for a minute. The military is permitted from shooting down drones near military bases, in the U.S. unless they pose an immediate threat. Nothing that aerial snooping doesn't qualify, though some lawmakers hope to give that the military greater leeway. For 2 nights, local police officers attempted to track the drones, both by foot and by car. Several of the drones appeared to land, but returned to the air before officers could reach them. January earlier this year, 2024, authorities obtained one of the drones allegedly involved in the Langley base incident. A student from the University of Michigan, a student from the University of Minnesota, I was way off. Fungi Sai, I can't make that up. Fungi Sai attempted to free a drone from a tree. When authorities later obtained the drone, they found photographs of Navy vessels. Shai pled guilty to taking unlawful photos of classified Navy installations and was sentenced to 6 months in prison. I don't know if that doesn't give you a warm and fuzzy. I don't know what does. Holy sh! Here's the thing. I think you're going to see a lot more attacks. I don't want to say attacks. I retract that. I think you're going to see a lot more surveillance on the military side of things and bigger industrial facilities, our food supplies, and all that other stuff is already happening, right? You look at the grid; it's always been a threat, and you're going to see more and more drones all over the place, and it's going to be, yeah, I. It's frustrating to a point a little bit, and is it dumb for me to get upset about it? Yeah, sure, it is. It's just how do you combat that? I don't know. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer for you. I wish I did. Before I get into the next one, I want to talk about something real quick. Along with it being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I want to give a shout out to all of the rescue crews down in North Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, stuff that's not being covered by the news. I made a comment last week. It rubbed a couple people wrong, and I'm not here to apologize about it because I think what you're seeing on social media, there's a lot of miscommunicate. There's a lot of misinformation being brought. There's a lot of good that's being done out there. There's a lot of things that are not being said. A lot of people said, "Oh, the military's not there, and they're not doing this, they're not doing that." Not entirely true. They're just not where some of the people are. They can't be everywhere. They could be, but the government's not letting them for whatever reason. I'm not in a mood to get into the whole conspiracy thing today. If somebody wants to trigger that conversation, by all means, please do. But we have boots on the ground. People that I've been in touch with down in Asheville, North Carolina. There's a lot of stuff that they need down there, and there's a lot of things that people aren't getting and they can't get to. Roads are gone. You're seeing things about, oh, there's a big, the conspiracy side of it. There's these, they want the mining rights to X, Y, and Z, and yada yada yada. Listen, I get that. Believe me, on a different day, I would go down that rabbit hole with you. But let's focus on what we can do to support the people that are there so we can get people who lost their homes and God forbid the people that are being pulled out of the rubble right now, how we can get help down there so people can get back into their homes, rebuild that area, and whatnot. Same thing with Wyoming. There's a lot of, I saw a post today, a lot of the fires that you see in Wyoming, if you haven't looked, eastern part of the state of Wyoming. And somebody said, if you break it up, the western side of Wyoming is all mostly federal land. There's no fires over there. Okay, I get it. But then there was somebody made a comment like, the eastern side, that's where all of this, rich material is at, and that's what they want. So they're putting the fire out there. Here's the thing. If you're a conservationist, a hunter, and I'm a pretty avid hunter, amateur hunter, I would say, you got to clear out a lot of stuff for the environment to do that too. So let's not jump the gun on everything. So do some research before you say something ignorant. I'm not sticking up for the government. I'll be the last person to do that. Trust me. But at the same time, we sit here and we talk about what we put in and what we consume on social media and the propaganda machine on TV. Let's practice what we preach, and that's me telling you, that I'm doing the same. There's usually I'd jump the gun on and be like, oh, F those guys, blah 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 blah. I'm not doing that. We gotta, because now I'm seeing both sides do it, and it's not right. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right, next up, I'm going to post this link here too. I'm going to do a pre-game. I've never done this before. We're going to talk about game preview for tomorrow's game. Army football breaks into the top 25, ranked 23rd right now in the nation. They're 6-0. And tomorrow they play East Carolina at home. Now, the question is, can the Black Knights break the streak? They have played East Carolina 5 times, 8 times, something like that. I forget. But I posted the article that we wrote right down there. It's on Heroes Media Group. Go to heroesmediagroup.com. You'll see the article. I'm excited about this game. I think it's going to be a great game. Army this year is doing a phenomenal job. They're fun to watch. Their offense is on point with everything. They're killing it right now. Um, their defense is on fire as well. I think they got a very strong defensive line. Their linebacker core is amazing. I had the opportunity to speak with inside linebacker Caleb Frontner earlier this week in an interview with a new show that we have, and we'll bring that up here in a little bit. But was just chatting with him and seeing what they're doing. Actually, I'll pull. There's Caleb. Last year's, I believe that was Army Navy game last year. We picked up the ball and ran it in for a touchdown. Really great, down to earth young man. But I'm excited about tomorrow's game. Army at home versus East Carolina. Are they going to break the streak? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Let's talk about what else. All right, we got an event coming up here, and I'll post this too. I'm multitasking today. I know you guys are impressed, and for that I thank you. I don't know if that came in right or whatnot, but Military Creator Con Thursday, January 16th, 2025, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time at the Renaissance Orlando at SeaWorld. I'm going to be there. Are you? You need to be. Buy your tickets now. You can go to the Facebook group there or go to the Eventbrite and get your Military Creator Con ticket. This happens within PodFest. If you're a podcaster looking to start a podcast, or if you're an author, this event you want to be at. This is freaking awesome. I'm looking forward to this event. I'm going to be speaking this year at Military Creator Con, January 16th. Come see me, throw a pie, ask me questions, whatever. But this is it's been a while since I've been to this event, and I'm very much looking forward to getting back down there and being a part of this. So buy your tickets, Eventbrite. Need to sell 100 of them. So click on it. Come down to Orlando. Come see me. It's Thursday, January 16th. We're actually going to do a pre-party January 15th. And I think if you join the Facebook group, you'll be able to see more details on it. Join the Facebook group. If you're military veteran or active duty right now, or spouse, join the group, get involved. David Gordon, good morning to you, sir. How the hell are you? Thank you for jumping on. Appreciate you. David Gordon, another fellow veteran, brother, man whom I very much respect. Him and Ken, good people. Love those guys. Love those guys. I'm going to post another article here. Look at this. Boom. A lot of multitasking this week. A lot of multitasking. Again, YouTube people, I'm sorry if that didn't come out right. Listen, I wrote another article for Newsmax. Yeah, I did. I'm not even going to talk about it. Just go read it. Right there. Newsmax.com/finance. You can see it. Small business, about veterans and small business. Go check that out for me. If you don't like it, don't tell me. I'm sensitive. Anyway, listen, what do we got? We got new shows. New shows here on HMG. I want to talk about this new show that just that's coming out here very, very soon. It's called the TPO Doc Talk Podcast. The TPO is a 501c3 nonprofit that provides outdoor recreation activities for our nation's warfighter families. Kayak fishing is their main activity, and the show highlights that. And then they also do collaborations with other nonprofit partners to just plain fishing topics. They dive into they dive in and provide a variety of topics to keep you entertained and informed. Support services, seasonal patterns for fishing, kayak info, safety tips, interviews with pros around the industry, and a whole hell of a lot more. I'm excited about having these guys on. The host name is Gene. Good dude. I'm obviously an amateur angler. I love to fish. You guys know that if you've been watching me for a while. I'm a huge on fishing, whether it's fresh water or salt water. Doesn't matter. I love being on the water. Kayak fishing, I've tried it. I'm not a small guy, so for me, kayak fishing, it's taken me a little bit. I won't do it in the salt water because I just won't, and I won't do it in the south because of gators. You can call me a pansy. I don't give a shit. Whatever. I'm not gonna do it. But I've tried it, and I just haven't found the right kayak for it. So my feet are better on the ground, or with waders on out in the water. Nonetheless, this is a great show. I'm excited to have them on board. So stay tuned for TPO Doc Talk podcast. Next up, new show, Cadets on the Gridiron. This one, we're bringing stories from the heart of West Point football. This podcast offers a unique glimpse into the lives of the Army football players, both on and off the field. Each episode is going to feature a candid conversation with players. Conversations with these student athletes as they share their personal journeys, motivations for attending the United States Military Academy, the challenges of balancing academics, athletics, and leadership training, and what it means to wear the Army Black Knights uniform. Tune in for remarkable individual chaos with West Point, up close and personal, lessons that they've learned, and the brotherhood that binds them. So this one's cool. It's coming. It's going to start next week. Like I said, I did the first episode earlier this week with Caleb, inside linebacker. Kid's amazing, and looking forward to what they do more this year. So excited that HMG is continuing to grow, even amongst all the chaos and everything else. What do we have here? Ken, enjoying coffee, printing cool stuff, as you should, my friend. What kind of coffee you drinking this morning, Ken? Speaking of coffee, go to hmgcoffee.com or hmgbeverage.com. Order some coffee today. I think next week we're going to do, I haven't done this in a while. I think we're going to do a discount code. I think we should give away some coffee for Halloween this year. Trick or treat, here's some coffee. Any thoughts? Anybody got thoughts on that? If you want some coffee, leave a comment. Just comment coffee. Just comment coffee. If you want some coffee from us, leave a comment. It says coffee. That's it. That's all I'm asking. Let's get into some of the shows this week. Good shows this week. First, what do we got first? The Strategic Veteran. This episode, Adam sits down with Tom Spooner, co-founder of Warrior's Heart, to discuss his inspiring journey from special forces to becoming a leading advocate for veterans' mental health. Tom opens up about his struggles with trauma and addiction, how these experiences shaped his mission, and the vision behind Warrior Hearts. Cool episode. Check it out. It's called The Strategic Veteran. What do we have here? Ken. Discount code Ken gets it free. I'll work on that. Shoot me a text later. I love it. What do we got next? Yeah, God, I don't know if it's the bright lights or if my eyes are going bad too. Good Lord Almighty. What do we have here? Jesus, David, Ken, we need to talk to David for crying out loud. The cheapest that David, but David, I can see that from David though. He's got that. David's one of those rugged, tough. He'll crap the coffee beans, grind it, and drink it. I mean, he'll put it in one of those cast iron things like the cowboy coffee. I know we've done that on a few FTXs in the past. We need to get David some coffee. Tony, how are you over there on the IG? I see you over there, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love it. I love it. What do we got next? Next up, we got Because Bikers Matter podcast. This week, special guest Steve Amella shares details about a fundraiser that they did on October 13th at the Union Fire Hall in Union, Illinois. The event, organized by the Lions Club, features a pancake breakfast, aimed at raising funds for Steve's wife's Angel, who is in need of a double lung transplant due to progressive disease exacerbated by COVID-19. Steve emphasizes the urgency of the situation, highlighting the significant costs that range up to $1.4 million. God, I hope they can get the money for that. Very heartfelt episode, Because Bikers Matter podcast. Check it out. Oh, David. I love my people. I love you guys out there. Keep the comments coming. We're gonna keep going. I'll take a glance and I'll cover more of the comments here in a little bit. But next up, Homefront Sit Rep podcast. They have Northwest Battle Buddies gifts, professionally trained service dogs to veterans battling PTSD, helping them regain their freedoms and independence. There's no cure for PTSD, but a service dog can reduce PTSD symptoms with life-changing results. With a canine battle buddy by their side, veterans with PTSD can regain their freedom and independence. Their service dogs spend 5+ months of intense training, then are carefully matched with a veteran handler for 5 more weeks of training, bonding to create that ultimate partnership. Jesus. Good episode. Homefront Sit Rep podcast. I've seen a couple of these different organizations that do the dogs. So this was a pretty cool one. So check it out. Homefront Sit Rep podcast. Next up, Patriots Inside the Wire this week. Tracy Two Steps sits down with a truly inspiring guest, Remy, TV and radio veteran and former production team member of Kings of Queens. The Remy family, incredible journey from Hollywood to health. Shares a story about overcoming challenges of being raised in a questionable environment and the mission to help families live better lives. Patriots Inside the Wire, they do a couple of shows. They do a show Monday night, and she does a show on Wednesday nights live. Patriots Inside the Wire on their social media. Let me see here. Dave, watched that episode. It was good. Good. Yeah. I love it. Love it. Yeah, here's the other thing real quick before I get into the next one. You guys noticed that for the longest time, the only live show that we had on HMG was this one here. And for the last, I guess it's been since about April now when we had Homefront Sit Rep come on. I spoke with David and we got him on live. So they do their live. And then some of the other shows on the network said, "Hey, how do we do that?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I need to be doing this. And we need to get the other shows on here." Misfit Nation, they do theirs live here. And People's Patriot Project also do theirs live. And we're in 2025. Those that do live shows, all of them will be live here on HMG as well. So we got new stuff coming. We're in the middle of revamping the new website. I brought that up last week a little bit. Uh, I'm praying for the best. Put a lot of money into this new website that's going to have a lot of new technology and stuff that the shows can offer you, the viewers and listeners. So I'm super stoked of what's to come as we're wrapping up 2024, and the goals that we have for 2025 are to double in size, get new shows on, even talking about holding an event in 2025 with you, the viewers and listeners, at an event somewhere in the country. Come out, meet the shows, and just have a good few days and whatnot. So let's move on. Next up in the queue, we got Bump in the Road. This week, Delilah Charmante, MD. She's a physician whose life took an unexpected turn when her 12-year-old daughter, Katrina, suffered a severe brain injury. Ugh. Whether you're a caregiver, a medical professional, or someone interested in holistic healing, this episode offers valuable insights and inspiration. Now, some of you are asking, well, what happened to her daughter? It's a great question. Listen to Bump in the Road and find out what happened. Bump in the Road. Check it out. Next up, we got the OG of HMG. I'm talking about the Arms Room Show. This week, they're discussing getting started in hunting, skills, tools, and what to do next. I don't know about you guys, but this is one of my favorite types of year. One of my favorite times of year because it's hunting season. Hunting season is here. I'm an average outdoorman. I like to hunt, love to fish. You guys know that. This is my thing. Next couple of months, this is what I love. This was a great episode. Arms Room Show. They're based out of Arizona. They do a lot of training across the country, whether it's firearms, medical, a slew of things. Go to the armsroomshow.com. You can see a list of some of the training stuff there. Also go to Independence Training AZ.com, and you can find a list of their 2025 training stuff scheduled that's coming up near you. So check it out. The Arms Room Show, always doing a great job. Love it. Take a listen. David and Ken, I think for both of you, I may just hold you to that, man. You may have just put something out there that I may have to make come to fruition in 2025. Just get the David and Ken show on HMG, and then get you guys in public and see how many times we can get arrested. I'm kidding. I don't know though. Would you trust the three of us together out in public? Anyway, moving on. The Misfit Nation podcast. This week, host Rich LaMonica welcomes USMC veteran Ryan Dorfield, aka 30. Born and raised in Chicago, Ryan now lives in Louisville. Served 5 years on active duty with the United States Marine Corps from 2010 to 2015. Recently signed with Big Homies Records in November of 2023. Talks about music, dedication to family and art, post-military service. This was a really cool episode. I dig it. Liked his music. Check it out. Misfit Nation podcast. Another show that does several episodes each week. So stay tuned and check those out. Next up, we got the Label Free podcast, Live Life Label Free. This week's host, Mike Radulescu. Deanna's husband, Mike. Good dude. A community hero up there in the Chicago area. Mike engages in a lively conversation with comedian Joe Gatto, known for his work on Impractical Jokers. If you've ever seen that show on TV, it's pretty funny. Joe shares insights into his journey in comedy, which began as a hobby and then evolved into a successful career spanning over a decade with that hit TV show. This is a pretty cool episode. The episode touches on strong bond between Gatto and his fellow comedians, the creative process behind the challenges on Impractical Jokers, and the aspirations to direct and create films in the future. Label free podcast. Check it out. Ken says we can have a grumpy old guy show. Now that we definitely could. Jeez. All right. Next up, we got your 6 at 6 with the People's Patriot Project. Every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Andrew was on here a little bit earlier. They do a round table. They get a lot of veteran musicians on the show. They put on a great show. People's Patriot Project. They do a couple of shows each week. They also do a show, I think, Monday night. Why am I drawing a blank? It's their it's like their weekly wrap up, the weekly rundown, and then they got WP3 radio. So go check it out. We got your 6 at 6. Go follow People's Patriot Project on their social media pages, and you can also see them live here on HMG Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Next up, other side of the firewall. This week they give a weekly rundown. These guys, they do a show Monday through Friday. All right, talking IT, AI. You learn so much from these guys. It's really something else. And they what's nice about it to me is they dumb it down for me because I don't understand IT lingo at all, and I kind of get what they're saying. Today's episode, they're covering a range of topics from personal updates to reflection of past experience. They explore the importance of community, the role of humor and conversations, and insights into personal growth and challenges. Excuse me. The conversation flows naturally, allowing the rich exploration of themes relevant to both their personal lives and a broader context of cybersecurity and professional development. Everything that is needed. Go check it out. It's called The Other Side of the Firewall. Next up, we got the Joel Evans Show. This week, he's talking with Alex Paykoff. Explore the journey from financial success to true fulfillment, emphasizing the importance of emotional wealth, self-care, and the impact on family. Some of the takeaways of this show: you're going to respect yourself and respect others. True fulfillment comes from being present and connected. Money amplifies existing flaws rather than solving them. That one was hard to hear. Yeah. Emotional debt must be addressed for true happiness. That was also hard to hear. This was a great episode. Joel always puts on a great show. Go check it out, the Joel Evans Show. Next up, MSEC Podcast, Military Child Education Coalition. If you are active duty, Guard, Reserve, a veteran, you have children that are in the home, that are still in school, grade school, go follow militarychild.org. They have a slew of resources for you guys. It makes life a lot easier, particularly for your children. This week, Partners of Promise. Promise is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to protect the rights of military children in special education and disability communities to ensure they receive equal access to an education. Outstanding. Listen as Dr. Jenna and Carla discuss how the Promise advocates for military children with special education and exceptional needs. Awesome episode, great content. It's called the MSIC Podcast. Go check it out. Last but not least, we got Chasing Happiness. This week, Ryan, you'll discover, he talks about and helps you discover 3 actionable strategies that can help you regain control over your life and elevate your mental clarity. He dives deep into the importance of structure and routine, sharing the rituals that keep him grounded, like morning walks, journaling, and reading scripture, and a whole lot more. What's a whole lot more? You got to tune in to find out. Go to Chasing Happiness and give it a listen. That is it for episodes this week. Although I think Rising Up Voices from the Front Line has one coming out a little bit later today. So stay tuned for that. Shout out to my tax fella. I'll be out in Jersey on Tuesday. Might even do a video while we're out there. My tax fella has been a supporter of HMG for the last 9 years. Thank you guys. Appreciate you, Anthony. Forget Genetics, another great organization. And it's hunting season. I'm telling you, if you guys want your deer in the woods, go to forgetgenetics.com. Get the mineral right now. Barry, veteran-owned company. Forget Genetics. For veteran-owned company. Get their stuff. Use HMG. Get 10% off at checkout. Motorcycle safety lawyers. Come on. If you ride motorcycles, these guys need to be on your speed dial. Motorcycle safetylawyers.com. Check it out. Jim Neary's Live Bait and Tackle. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. They always hook me up with my fishing gear. Warriors on the Water LTD. They take out veterans and first responders out on the water. And fishing season's coming to a close. Fishing season's coming to a close out here. I need to get on the water this weekend. JB Auto Clothiers. And of course, last but not least, our sister company, HMG Beverage. Go check it out. All right, what do we got here? You guys are great. Ken and Dave, the Grumpy Old Guy Show. I think we're going to make this. Listen, everybody that watches this later in the weekend, share this first of all. I'm going to call these guys out right now just because I can. Ken and David, I love these guys to death. A ton of respect. These guys helped me out so much when I first got to our units. They were in a different platoon off-site from where I was. And here's the only I don't say I have any regrets in life, but there was one thing I wish I would have done when I was younger was spend more time around these guys here. And I was it wasn't that I was an ass. It was just I was more of a shy type, and I just didn't really interact with a whole lot of people. These guys here, I think we should do a grumpy old guy podcast. How many of you out there? Let's do a survey for like a week. For the next week, I want to do a survey. I can literally hear these two guys right now. Let's do a survey. The Grumpy Old Guy podcast. And let's get these salty vets up here. I'm going to tell you right now, you would not be disappointed if these guys got on and did a show. I think we should test the waters with this in 2025, quite frankly. My opinion. I want to hear from you guys. Leave a comment. Ken, Dave, you cannot comment on this because if you guys try to back out of it, it's not going to, we got to do this. We got to make this happen. The Grumpy Old Guy podcast coming in 2025. You've heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. And if that means I got to come out to Arizona, I'll twist my arm. David's already said hell no. And he's probably off right now. So this is why I think we need to do it. How many of you out there want to see a Grumpy Old Guy podcast in 2025 right here on HMG? Let's make that happen. It's kind of like, yeah, I can't say that. I'm not going to say that. Anyway, let's make this happen. Guys, that's all the time I got for today. Get off your phones. It's getting a little bit colder now, so make sure you dress. Let me rephrase it because I know these two are going to bust my balls about this. It's getting cooler out east here. All right. Ken said Yeah, see, Ken said if I come to Arizona, he'll come on the show. No, no, no. You got to host the show, Ken. This is this you and David show, the grumpy old guy show. We'll make this work. We're gonna figure this. Yeah, this just became priority. We are making the grumpy old guy podcast happen in 2025, folks. You've heard it here. Mark your calendars. It's coming in 2025. You heard it here first. David and Ken, they want to do it. They may not realize it, and it's going to take a guy like me to make it happen. And if that means I got to go out there and bust some balls, then by God, that's what we're going to do. Oh, the cubicle's calling. Yeah, likely excuse, David. Like, I'm kidding. Listen, have a good one, brother. You guys have a good day. I appreciate you guys jumping on. The rest of you out there in the interweb lambs, God bless you. God bless America. Stay safe out there. Use your head this weekend. Don't do anything stupid. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.